I think there's a lot of misnomers out there for people who are retiring. The 4% rule, the 5% rule, it may be the 7% for you. It may be the 2%, who knows? It really depends on your situation. So I don't like the rules. I don't like the rule default that you take your age, divide it by 100, and that's how much equity allocation you should have. And you automatically should be getting more conservative as you get older. Maybe not. What you should be doing is just making sure that your plan, stress tested, probability analysis run on your plan, tells you that you have a high probability of success, somewhere 70%, maybe 80 or 90. Once you get over 90, it's probably too high of success, because then you're going to have a lot of money left over unless that's your plan. But I don't like those rules, Alex, because they force people into boxes, and we are not all the same. Everybody is different. Their attitudes about money, their psychology around money, volatility and risk, it's all different. And so this becomes so personal and intimate that you really need to unpack this with your own selfish mindset, right? What about me? What do I want to do with my money? What is the purpose of my money? What type of volatility am I comfortable with? So that I don't panic and change. And then also, we're going to show you ways where certain types of rebalancing can automatically alleviate a lot of these risks and volatility. We do our rebalancing primarily to reduce volatility, not to enhance returns. And a lot of people think it's the opposite. I'm rebalancing to enhance returns. Not really, but by reducing volatility, we in turn end up providing better long-term returns, because the lower volatile portfolios still end up working better over longer periods of time in most cases. So this one's pretty sweet, simple and easy. Lots of words on here. There is that danger zone. You need to be aware of it. You need to plan for it. If you don't, you could make some catastrophic mistakes. Man, people have been lucky over the last 10 or 15 years, haven't they, Alex? There's been very short downturns. They have been insignificant from a time standpoint. Nothing like 2009 ended up good, but it started bad. But 2008, 2001, 2, those were some really tough extended periods, and people have not had to experience that.
Yeah, I like what you said about psychology of money. It reminded me of the book by Morgan Housel, actually. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the bottom statistics there, I know these are huge groups of people being sampled and surveyed, so you got to find yourself within the numbers and the statistics. But I mean, 3/4 of people, their outcome is going to be determined by the first 10 years of returns, right? Yeah. And then you got the 4.2 million. This is interesting because psychology of money talks about how there's a generational, depending on which generation you're in and how old you were, it shapes how you feel about money. So we have some clients who've retired and they're frugal. They're like fearful of spending, right? Yep. So their financial plans are probably going to be successful if those habits remain. Other people, they retire and they're like, I have all this extra time on my hands. I can't wait to go do all the things. And they start spending a bunch of money. And so you can imagine what will happen then if the sequence of returns hits those people at the good time versus the bad time. And that's where having an accountability partner in this retirement journey, AKA a great advisor team, a fiduciary advisor team, can help you stay accountable to your plan, which then is, it's like the best thing. It's like when you have a personal coach for training and you think you're doing a good job with your diet and exercise. And the coach is like, yeah, you're actually slower than you were last month and your BMI has gone the wrong direction. You're like, oh, yeah, you need to hear that stuff. You need to hear that stuff.
Yeah. We're not trying to run scare tactics because we don't do that. And then ultimately just sell you annuities that provide you with low returns and guaranteed income for life, quote unquote, guaranteed your own money back. And those may be right for you in certain situations, by the way. But what we are here to talk about is how we are handling some of these serious issues, like the 10-year trap or the 10-year risk and the early sequence of returns and different things we talked about. So why don't you lay out what we're going to be talking about over the next couple minutes?
Yeah. Again, lots of words on the screen here, some colors, some pictures, but the concept we're trying to show you here is that if you break down what we can control into two key principles here, how you manage your money, when you make decisions through when volatility is happening, a little bit of volatility or a lot of volatility, it doesn't really matter as long as there is a system to follow, an objective system rather than fear-based or emotion-based or even greed-based, which can be even more dangerous than fear-based, right? Chasing after something that you think is going to go up. So what you see in principle 1, this is one of Jason's favorite things to talk about. If you ever run into him out in the wild, just ask him about tolerance band rebalancing, and you're going to get like,
oh no,
good excited version of Jason.
I'm getting better though. I'm recovering from my
oh no, you don't fight
incessant behavior around tolerance band rebalancing.
He'll just give you a big hug, I think. But it's a really cool concept though, and what it does is it forces you to always sell high and buy low. I know. Without knowing what's going to happen next, which is really nice, because without knowing what's going to happen next means that there's peace of mind around the decision making of when to trim back a position or an asset class, right? US equities is the first one on the screen here, based on its historic standard deviation, which is that weird little O thing with a line over it, right? And so there's some standard deviation, some volatility expected in every asset class, right? Some have more than others. So why then would you do it automatically once a year or once a quarter at the same degree, irrelevant of the asset class? That doesn't make a lot of sense. There is a better way, right?
There's so many bad strategies. And this is why the book Financial Detox was written, and why we call our show Financial Detox, because we really want to help you avoid toxic advice. Most toxic advice comes in the form of generalities. The saying something in a statement about an investment strategy or a type of investing, the 4% rule, 5% rule, whatever it may be, you must get more conservative as you get older. Not saying those are wrong, but they're really, in general, it doesn't necessarily apply to you personally and individually. And same with rebalancing strategies. There's some of the main rebalancing strategies are really flawed. They would rebalance an entire portfolio because one asset class or one sleeve of the portfolio is 5% off of its target. That's just crazy. You create all kinds of tax gains unnecessarily, and you actually chop the legs off of sectors or sections or asset classes of the portfolio that maybe are just beginning to run. So what we built is this, what Alex talked about here is how do we rebalance a portfolio, but do it very intelligently, unemotionally, systematized. And so as you can see there in the middle of the page, like when the market falls, we're kind of forced to buy, automatically buying. When the market rises beyond a certain point, that would be the disclaimer there, then we're automatically trimming profits. And we're always taking our withdrawals from something that's up. So if you're in that income phase of retirement, especially those really scary years, those first 10 years where you don't want to have a really negative sequence of return, the way you take money out of your portfolio matters. It may be the difference between whether you run out of money or you don't, or whether your plan is really successful and not.